Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. Italy 2, Albania 1. We beat them. We got the 3 points just about. It wasn't easy. And the first, after 26 seconds, Albania scored a record for European Championships, a negative record that Italy set, or Albania set against Italy. But in the end, we managed to make it through, which was the most important thing. 3 points. Being on top of the group with Spain, especially after Spain smashed Croatia on the other side 3-0. It's really good to build up that goal difference and just, get the confidence going and go into that game with Spain, because Spain, on the other hand, I didn't watch the game, but I saw the highlights and they let in chances. So Croatia should have scored at least a goal or maybe even 2. So, yes, they look scary going forward. They always do. Spain, Morata's still scoring, but I think if you watch the highlights of that game, you can see there's some weaknesses in that Spain back line for sure. And some good signs for Italy. Spalletti, we were wondering, is he going to stick to that 3-4-2-1? And he kind of a little bit played of a bluff throughout these friendlies in the build-up, like he's just been playing this 3-4-2-1, 3-4-2-1. But we reverted back to the formation that pretty much Spalletti played throughout his whole career, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. And what Mancini was playing for throughout his tenure pretty much with Italy, and the formation that we kind of won the Euros with. But at the same time, you should never, when a coach like Spalletti is your coach, you shouldn't really look too much at what the formation is. Yes, on paper yesterday, we played a 4-2-3-1, as you can see here, lineup with Fotmob, with Frattesi as the CAM according here, and Barella and Jorginho holding. But when Spalletti is your coach, as I said, this is the quote you see on the right. Spalletti is a coach that bases his tactics on relationalism. So relational in relation to where the ball is. That's how his team moves. So there's no fixed position. That's how you see his football. And that's how you saw Italy play yesterday. There was, a structure based on this 4-2-3-1. But in reality, when we were attacking, we saw the 3-4-2-1 that we basically played a lot of the last few friendlies. But even within that, there was a lot of movement, a lot of freedom given to players. And, as an Inter fan, that reminded me a lot of Inter under Simone Inzaghi. So really, really interesting to see Italy yesterday. But yeah, let's get into quick analysis of the game. I'm sure we don't want to rewatch this too much. But Di Marco, Bastoni, the two Inter boys, mix up at the back. And here we see, the slight change in position. Bastoni is playing as a right centre-back. These are the question marks that you start to have when you see the team on paper. You think Bastoni is a right centre-back. He's very left-footed with another left-footed centre-back, Calafiori. How is this going to work? But, these are the slight little differences in nuance and maybe chemistry where things got confused, because Bastoni usually would be, you see Calafiori at the bottom of your screen. Bastoni usually would be there, if not even maybe even taking the throw in, to be honest, because when he plays in the 3 at the back, a lot of the times the left centre back ends up being the one taking the throw in, even ahead of the wing back. But yeah, so a little bit of confusion there between Di Marco and Bastoni. Maybe Bastoni should have been a bit closer there, or Di Marco should have hit that throw in with a little bit more power. But Bayrami, had to be a Serie A player to punish us. Bayrami, the Sassuolo player. Fair play to him, reads it really well, gets in front of Bastoni and hits it on the near post past Donnarumma. Quickest goal in the European Championship, as we said. But I am really, really proud and impressed with how Italy responded to that, conceding a goal so early. This team has some experience in there, but it's still a little bit of a young team. But no, cool heads prevailed. They kept their composure. And straight after the goal, they started dominating the possession. And here you see what we're talking about. Again, possession, football, tactics, formations. In modern football, it doesn't really, nothing is very static. Every big team, either when you're in attacking phase, you either play a 3-2-5 or a 2-3-5. That's basically how, if you're attacking, that's just how the structure is. You have pretty much 5 guys attacking. And then between that front 5, they're all staggered a little bit. But you see how it is there. Frattesi and Pellegrini were kind of the 2 number 10s behind Scamacca. And you see how high Di Marco and Chiesa were. and then Barella and Jorginho were the two guys, you know, centre mids building up with the three behind them. But then, as I said, in between that, you saw so many rotations, so much fluidity. Spalletti was giving to the team. Di Marco would come inside, Barella would go outside, or you know, Calafiori would go up front. Like, it was very, very smooth, and it gave Albania a lot of trouble. And yeah, when we were actually off the ball, even though the formation said 4-2-3-1 with Frattesi, it was behind the striker, but actually off the ball, it was Barella who was the number 10. He was given that role because he is very good at pressing. He's a little Energizer bunny that we know, the Duracell bunny. So he was actually a lot of the time pressing the centre backs alongside Scamacca in the first phase of play for Albania, where Frattesi was the guy shielding the defense alongside Jorginho, which I think makes sense. You know, Frattesi is a little bit more physical, a bit better in the air than Barella, gives a little bit more shield, and Barella is really good at pressing, as we said. But then when we're off the ball, Frattesi, you know, Barella and Frattesi will switch positions, and Frattesi, we know he's amazing at making those runs in behind and off the ball. So again, really, really a lot of freedom and a lot of flexibility given by Spalletti here. And then, yeah, as I said, really impressed how we reacted to that great corner, short corner finally working. You know, I always feel like these short corners hardly ever work, but at this time it worked well. Short corner by Di Marco to Pellegrini, who did a great ball to the far post of Bastoni. Bastoni doesn't score many goals. I think there's only second goal for Italy, and for Inter, he doesn't really score much. And he doesn't really go up too much for set pieces either, and I don't really see him too many times, but it's good to see him making his presence felt. Really nice header on the far post. Bad defending, but good header by Bastoni. First Inter goal. You know, first one was an Inter mistake. You know, two Inter boys making a mistake, but then the Inter boy making up for it. And then afterwards, mamma mia, Barella. You know, in the build-up, I was saying, you know, in the other video I made a few days ago when Barella renewed, I said, you know, he's renewed his contract with Inter now, so his mind is clear. He's had his newborn baby, fourth child, I believe, you know, a baby boy. He's ready to go and take over these Euros. And what a performance yesterday. Man of the match for me. I know Federico Chiesa won it, but I don't know how Barella didn't win it. It was a majestic performance. He saw that Toni Kroos performance the other day for Germany, and he said, okay, I can do this. And that goal, my goodness, look at that technique that he hits it with. We know, as Inter fans, we know over the years he scored many goals like that. And if we look at quickly his stats as well from yesterday, Tottenham gave him man of the match quite rightly. 105 passes out of 108, 97% pass accuracy. That is crazy. Those are Toni Kroos numbers. One another was successful dribble, 6 out of 6 accurate long balls, 3 duels won. Really, really complete performance by him. And, you know, I've said over the years many times that in the future, I see Barella like as a CDM. Conte used to play him a couple of times here and there. Inzaghi, I don't think really has tested him out there too much. But, you know, even at Cagliari, sometimes he played a bit deeper. And I think once he slows down, you know, once Barella gets, you know, close to the age of 30 or 30 plus, when he hasn't got the legs anymore to get up and down as a mezzala, I think he's definitely got that right foot to become a regista as well. And he showed that yesterday alongside Jorginho. What a performance, beautiful. But Jorginho as well kept the knee entirely next to him, you know, nothing crazy, but I do want to see a little bit more progression from Jorginho, a little bit more forward passing. But yeah, really good performance all around from everyone. Even you know, Di Marco made that mistake, but apart from that, he was really good. After that, I think he bounced back well from that mistake. Di Lorenzo was, you know, the surprise inclusion. You know, I would have personally put, if we are going with this kind of hybrid formation at the back, because, you know, essentially we play, as I said, moving forward, we play with 3 at the back. If I show you quickly how that looks, this is how it looks. I made a quick animation. So the 4-2-3-1 becomes a 3-4-2-1 there. Di Lorenzo tucking in. So this is basically the same as Mancini was doing almost at the Euro 2020. It was the same. Di Lorenzo tucking in, and then Spinazzola was Di Marco bombing up and down. The only difference really was that, you know, it was more of a 3-5-2 at times. You know, Verratti, Barella, and Jorginho really like to be close together, whereas, you know, Frattesi, Pellegrini, a little bit more attacking in that sense. But, you know, the difference was Pellegrini here was more Insigne. Insigne was the inside forward. And here, you know, Barella was given more of the license to roam by Mancini, whereas Chiesa was still kind of on the outside. So slight variance, but not too much difference. Very similar to how we lined up, you know, how we were attacking at Euro 2020. The difference is, though, in these half spaces, other teams, you know, moving forward, other teams have, you know, where Pellegrini is, you know, Germany have the likes of Wirtz and Musiala. You know, England have someone like Foden or, you know, Bellingham or Cole Palmer, like slightly a bit more quality in some areas, you know, especially when you come as an inside forward, when you come in here in these areas where there's more traffic, there's less space, you need a bit more, you know, dribbling ability, technical ability. Whereas, you know, definitely Frattesi likes a little bit of that. Pellegrini, you know, is technical, but that's the only thing where we quite haven't got the same quality as some of the bigger teams. As, you know, if someone like Mbappe or Thuram or Griezmann for France, you know, then they step inside into these areas. That's the main difference that we kind of lack at the moment. But overall, as I said, yeah, I was happy with Scamacca's performance, his hold-up play, build-up play. Hopefully he can get his goal next time round. But really, really good performance all around afterwards. We should have kept our foot on the accelerator. We didn't really try to push for that third and fourth goal. We should have done it. We should have took our chances. And then here, Aslani, you know, speaking of Albania, very plucky performance from Albania. We have to say, impressive from Albania. And, you know, I did say in my preview not to underestimate Albania, but we need to beat Albania. We have to beat Albania. But we knew where the quality, they had a few quality players. And here, Aslani, another Inter boy, beautiful ball with his left foot, which is not even left-footed, but amazing ball. And here, Calafiori, let's talk about Calafiori as well. This is the one mistake, great performance by Calafiori, but this is the one mistake he kind of had. Let Ray Manai, another former Inter player, so many interconnections in this game, running in behind, almost chipped it over Donnarumma, who managed to save it. Should have been a corner, to be honest. But that was the only flaw in his game. But Albania here could have, you know, potentially equalized because Italy didn't really take their chances. But yeah, speaking of Calafiori, this is all that's been, you know, we're seeing on social media recently. You know, Bastoni is the one who also had a great performance and he scored. But because Bastoni doesn't have, you know, these 2003 looking centre-back, flowing hair, long hair looks, he's not getting that PR, that you know, the prop that Calafiori has been getting over the last 24 hours. It's crazy. This is called handsome privilege, guys. It applies in all walks of life. Clearly also applies in football because, you know, if Calafiori was bold and ugly, I don't think many people would be talking about his performance yesterday. It was a good performance, but nothing like out of the ordinary. This is what we saw at Bologna for most of the season. But speaking of Calafiori, this is why after I watched the Bosnia game, Italy-Bosnia friendly, I said Spalletti might just have to start him because, especially as I said, but Spalletti as a coach, Spalletti bases football on possession-based football, relationalism, loves to attack, loves to keep possession, loves centre-backs that can play the ball. He loves, Calafiori said it, you know, this guy is football. He knows football. So in theory, yes, maybe Buongiorno should start the proper real defender. And I think maybe against the bigger teams, I still maybe would lean towards starting Alessandro Buongiorno over Calafiori just because I feel like defensively, you know, he's a proper box defender. We might have less possession against the likes of Spain, Croatia, more defending, more deeper defending to do, less possession. So Calafiori's strengths might be needed a bit less. But this is why, you know, Calafiori is so highly touted, so highly rated at the moment, and that's why Juve won him. Hopefully they don't get him. Really, really good on the ball. Got a yellow card, but apart from that, solid. Dealt with Armando Broja and all the threats that Albania had to deal with. So, you know, defensively first is always impressive, but then of course on the ball he's amazing. And then Bastoni did well as well. You know, a slightly different position. Essentially, in the end, was playing in the middle of the three. But then when we played him in the 4, this is where my doubts are with Bastoni at times. It seemed like sometimes he struggles with, Broja when he was running in behind, he's holding onto his shirt. Just he hasn't got quite the athleticism and strength that the likes of, other top centre-backs in the world have, like, the Ruben Diaz or Van Dijk, just that natural athleticism. But he's got his, Italian ways of dealing with strikers, and he did very well. So, yeah, hopefully he can continue that and be the leader at the back that we need. Well, yeah, what do you guys think, guys? That ended up being a bit longer than I thought. It's not really like a 10-minute reaction, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that bit of insight into yesterday. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. What did you make of the formation? What would you change for Spain, the next one? What would you change for the Croatia, the next one? What did you make of Frattesi's performance? He was, up and down, but I was happy that he kept the ball better than he does at Inter sometimes. 85% pass accuracy, hit the post as well. I know Spalletti was shouting at him a lot, but he does that chaos that he does, and you added that goal threat. But yeah, happy with the 3 points. See you on the next one. I think we can at least get a draw against Spain, which I think would be a good result. See you on the next one, guys. Ciao ragazzi. Forza Azzurra.